you act now, I'll throw in a free set of steak knives!
Are you finished now, Dad?
Squidward's father finally gets a major episode that a big chunk of the fanbase is clamoring about, with so many questions and more that will be answered in this video. But let's get to the major question. Is this another Squidward torture episode? Yes, but it is one of the better ones I've seen recently, and I'll even defend this episode for that for two reasons. One, Squidward has a spectacular crash out at the end of this episode, and two, for this story to work, Squidward kinda has to be put through the ringer, no pun intended. But who is Squidward's father, and how did he lead to Squidward melting down? Well, his father's name is Jeff Tentacles, and although this isn't the first time that we have seen this character, this is his first major appearance within the main show. Some of you may remember the classic joke from Crabborg involving Squidward's father.
Squidward's father never hugged him. Isn't that sad?
Yes, I suppose that is rather sad, but Squidward can hug himself during his break.
Although for years we wouldn't have seen his character, but he would appear later on in both Camp Coral and the main show a few times, but nothing too serious. I love his character design. It's very eccentric, which helps with the comedic entrepreneurial archetype that they're building here. Within this episode, titled Jeffy T's Prankwell Emporium, he decides to stay the weekend with his son, and we immediately can recognize the type of personality that he has.
Oh, how did you know it was me? Bring it in, son.
It's an interesting choice to have them contrast each other, but it's probably for the best if you know about Squidward's extended family. Now, in researching for this video, I've really been enjoying using Opera, who proudly partnered with today's video in embracing the future of browsers. Opera has reimagined internet browsing with their updated Opera 1 R2. Feel free to customize the theme with an endless amount of combinations to fit whatever aesthetic that you're looking for. Anything from the colors, sounds, and animations. My favorite is Midsommar.
Nice.
Speaking of sounds, Opera also buffed their floating music player that lets you stream from the major streaming services and change or skip songs without interrupting your browsing. You can move it around the screen and even outside the browser. One of their biggest additions is Aria, their built-in artificial intelligence tool that doesn't require an extra tab and is ready to answer any question you throw at it in the command line. And this includes generating or recognizing what's in an image. You're a simple prompt away from figuring out how many R's are in the word strawberry. As a person who opens up way too many tabs, I enjoy the tab islands that group everything together, allowing me to have all the tabs I need when researching videos in one group. And the other group could be whatever you want, from browsing through a game wiki, keeping track, or keeping up with multiple social media tabs when you really should be working on that project that's already a week late. Maximize your productivity with Opera 1's R2 split screen feature, which removes the need to have two separate Opera windows side by side, created easily by dragging one tab down next to the other. There's also tab traces for those who tend to have a lot of tabs open that let you recently track used tabs with a visual underscore. The darker the underscore, the more recently you visited that tab. So if you want a banger browser, Opera is definitely one to check out, and you can check it out in the link in the description box. Getting back to the family, we know that Squidward's grandmother is even more grumpy than Squidward, so having a lot of the family be the grumpy type would have been boring. We have two things during the beginning of this episode that I like. The first one being this cycle of Squidward being happy to express himself in front of his father, only to be the subject of one of his pranks.
Hey, why don't you play me one of your famous clarinet tunes?
Well, I have been practicing a new song.
It's the classic bubble-blowing clarinet. It's only $6.99.
While we don't know too much about Jeff, he doesn't seem like the type to step on Squidward's dreams, given that he has an unconventional occupation. I would like to think that Squidward was probably not discouraged to try painting or the clarinet, but he also wasn't encouraged either because his father was self-absorbed in pranks, because he's so passionate. But why is Jeff so passionate about pranks, and what is his ultimate goal?
I've developed thousands of gags over the course of my career. I've even been working on the ultimate gag, but it's just not ready yet. I can't seem to figure it out.
We will see exactly how the ultimate gag comes into play later, but it's very clear that Squidward doesn't hate his father, he just doesn't want to be bothered if it's just going to be pranks 100% of the time. However, it doesn't come across as malicious. In fact, I'd even say pranks are probably Jeff's way of expressing love and appreciation for Squidward. The other aspect I enjoy is how respectful SpongeBob and Patrick are, while also for the most part not taking the spotlight. They're quite surprised that Squidward would have such a lively dad, especially since Squidward doesn't particularly let such a fun side of him out that often.
Squidward? This is your dad?
I thought Mr. Krabs was your dad!
Both SpongeBob and Patrick are as well behaved as you can be in an episode full of pranks. In fact, most of the pranks and gags that they'd participate in aren't really to Squidward's detriment or cause him pain. Most of the more harmful ones are from Squidward's dad directly, except for one later on in the episode.
Who would have thought Squidward's dad would be such a lively guy?
Squidward is hilarious in his own right. I mean, his name is Squidward, but he's an octopus! That was one of my best pranks.
Giving your child a name off of a prank that they'd have to live with forever is wild. Now, there would be 3 callbacks in this episode that I want to point out.
Oh no.
If you like rubber chickens, you'll love this bicycle horn.
Yes, the iconic laughter song that was used within Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3 over 20 years ago makes its return in this episode. And of the times that new SpongeBob episodes bring things back, I have to applaud how this return isn't hyped up or focused on, but it also makes sense for Jeff's character. If you don't remember, this song was used as the backing track to the tickle belt that was on Man Ray throughout the episode.
Don't play dumb, Man Ray. You know that's the tickle bell Mermaid Man used on you in episode number 17.
As seen in episode 17.
There would be another return that's even more subtle, but we'll get to that one soon. While there would be other episodes that dabbled in practical jokes such as Pranks a Lot and Fools in April, this one doesn't really step on those episodes because the core of this episode here is Squidward's relationship with his father. As said before, for the tension to build in this episode, Squidward kinda has to go through the ringer and suffer through the pranks that his father is more than happy to set up, with SpongeBob and Patrick playing respectful spectator to almost all of it. Squidward would try to cook food and it'd get infected with rice lice. He tried to boil water, but his father replaced his pot with a flammable pot. Don't worry, it happened to me as well. He tried to put out the fire, but that was replaced as well, and when Jeff appears to help in earnest, Squidward gets stuck in instant bread. It all happens in rapid succession, and it pushes Squidward too far.
Get it while it's hot. It's a fire sale. Now, who wants to buy some fun?
That's it! I'm going where there won't be any fun! Work.
Squidward would try to escape the madness by going to work, something that he didn't think he would be doing today, but they just simply bring the gags to his workplace.
Why do your teeth look weirder than usual?
Ugh, rubber teeth.
Mr. Krabs! SpongeBob is being obnoxious again! Huh? Yeah.
Gotcha! It's my famous rubber boss!
Fun fact, this image of Mr. Krabs is a well-known stock image of Mr. Krabs, so it's a nod to those who are probably online way too much, like myself. However, this would be one gag too far, and it would lead Squidward to get revenge on all who have wronged him. If you remember how I said there was one gag that harmed Squidward that didn't directly come from Squidward's father, Patrick would take a giant water balloon that was actually full of jellyfish, and with no exaggeration, erase Squidward's existence.
Catch!
Oh no.
It's full of jellyfish!
And after that spirit bomb, that was one prank too far, as the rest of this episode deals with Squidward crashing out, justifiably, over all the pranks he received.
Now to do something I should have done a long time ago.
Hey man, if he did it, I wouldn't have been surprised. Oh, come on. He got vaporized by a jellyfish spirit bomb on his day off and you're shocked at me? Squidward would get to work on his revenge and I love all of his facial expressions here. If there were any episode where you were going to ham up the expressiveness, this is definitely the one. I even love his vocal delivery as he delivers his revenge to his dad.
Morning, son. Looking chipper as always.
I've a present for you, Father.
Bro sounds like the delightful squid from down the lane. It isn't just one prank, it's many pranks. All of the gags he endured in this episode, he sends them back Jeff's way. And I think that's totally fair. Again, Squidward had to endure so much in this episode when he didn't ask for any of it. This isn't like Fools in April or Wiener Takes All where he got arrogant and comfortable. He was chilling on his day off and got his home invaded. Plus, I'm a big supporter of, if you can't take it, don't dish it. And if this episode was gonna portray Squidward in the wrong for getting his father back for the gags he's done, this would have been a bottom 10 episode for me of the last few years. But luckily, they avoided that problem, and that was a heavy problem within season 6 to 8. Now, you might have thought I forgot, but we have another return, and I'm gonna play it right now.
Son, this is it. The ultimate gag.
Did you see it? Well, if you didn't, I don't blame you. It's this character right here. Where was this character from? Well, some of you may remember another OG SpongeBob episode where a familiar fancy fish was seen in the audience while Squidward was performing with a SpongeBob-made clarinet in the episode Sleepy Time.
His music touches me ever so. I fear that my tears might stain my petticoat.
Like with the laughter song, this is also a 20+ year return, and even more subtle that if people missed it, again, I wouldn't blame them. Squidward allows for SpongeBob and Patrick to get in on the revenge, showing that his gags are E for everyone. But the best part of it all is that Squidward's father is actually appreciative because he deems this revenge box as the ultimate gag.
I'm so proud of you for figuring out my ultimate gag. I'll just go pack up my things and head out.
Really? That's all I ever wanted to hear you say.
It's kind of a wholesome ending to a very eccentric character who even sweetens this revenge by going home early, allowing Squidward to enjoy the rest of his day in pieces. No, I don't mean in peace, because his head was blown to pieces at the end of this episode. Modern SpongeBob has been about breathing life into long-time characters or promoting side characters into more major roles and introducing new lore-specific characters. And I think you can give us more of Jeff without making it story-driven or doing an arc by just having him appear every once in a while. Maybe even with more characters than just Squidward. And speaking of characters that we haven't seen in a long time, where has Squilliam been? I talk about that in this episode right here.